How many times have you dreaded going to a holiday get-together with your family because you're afraid of what your family member is going to say to you? You know, the one who's always making negative comments about your body and what you're eating? I've heard this time and time again from clients over the years, and I'm going to share with you specific steps on how you can set boundaries with those difficult family members for a better relationship with your body. Our body is something God gave us to glorify Him, so let's glorify Him by improving our self-esteem with setting boundaries. God also gave us family members to commune with, and we want to do that in a peaceful and an enjoyable way, rather than cutting annoying people out of our lives. I'm going to give you actionable steps on how to do just that, so let's jump in. Do you wish you could look like you train as much as you do? Are you sick of scouring the internet for sports nutrition tips only to find information tailored to men? Do you wish there was a simple solution to fueling your body for your activity level? Are you ready to find freedom with food? It is possible to have balance between fueling your body for your sport and for enjoyment, and it's not as complicated as you may think. Can we say hello, food freedom? There's a way to have it all and eat your cake too, and I'm going to show you how. Hey, I'm Kristen, a former multi-sport athlete, a sports dietitian, personal trainer, and Jesus lover. In this podcast, you will find practical, sustainable fueling tips for female athletes that will set you free from diet culture, an ever-changing set of nutrition rules, under-fueling, and underperforming. You'll learn how to put together a fueling plan that works for you, that doesn't require all the rules, tracking every morsel of food you consume, letting food consume your every thought, with Jesus at the center of it all. If you're ready to find a sustainable nutrition plan that works for you with your active lifestyle and is tailored to your unique physiology, break free from diet culture, and finally feel comfortable in your own skin, this podcast is for you. Whip up that smoothie, lace up your shoes, and let's jump in. Have you ever gone to Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or some other family event and your grandmother or your aunt or whoever, somebody in your family, is always making negative comments either about you, what you're eating, what you look like, your body, or maybe it's even somebody else that is just making you feel very uncomfortable, but you know that they are really talking about you at some other point in time when you're not available. I've heard this from many, many clients over the years, and frankly, it's very important that we set boundaries with family members, especially around the holidays, so that we can enjoy our other family members, we can enjoy the holidays, and not have to worry about what so-and-so is going to say about us and make us feel, and have to worry about all this stress and anxiety that comes around with it. So this is what we're going to talk about today. How you can work through those negative comments, how you can set boundaries, how you can have that conversation, some communication strategies, how you can respond to pushback and reinforce those boundaries, and when to just take a step back and realize that this isn't something that is going to work for you. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So first of all, understanding some negative comments. What are negative comments? So that would be where, grandma or grandpa is constantly saying, oh, well, looks like you've gained a little bit of weight this year. Are you really going to eat that? Or maybe you should eat some more food. Doesn't look like you're eating enough. You're looking really skinny. Here, eat some more of this. Have seconds when you've already told them I'm full or I'm fine and thank you very much. They just keep coming at it, and that can obviously really do a number on somebody's self-esteem, the way that they feel about themselves, and rightfully so. A lot of times we may not even want to attend those family events. We may not want to attend Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or whatever dinner that you're going to, because you don't want to deal with those negative comments about yourself. Or like I said, it could be that those comments are about somebody else, but when they're talking about somebody else, chances are they're probably talking about you behind your back, and you just don't feel comfortable with it. So what do you need to do? It's set boundaries with these people. So setting boundaries is going to help to better your relationship with them. It's going to better those communication between you and that person. It's going to reduce your stress, reduce worry and anxiety, and it can also help to improve your self-esteem. So what you really need to do is think about, what do you want that person to either do or not do, or say or not say. So what I mean by that is, if somebody is constantly saying, oh, well, you look like you're losing some weight and you're looking mighty skinny, you don't really look so good, maybe you should eat some more food, that might be a comment where you really don't feel good with them saying that. And so maybe you just don't want them to say anything at all. And that's something that you need to be clear on. Or maybe it's where you would rather them turn that comment around, where instead of saying, oh, well, you're looking really skinny, maybe you want them to say, okay, I'm concerned about you. It looks like maybe you're not fueling your body properly, or something along those lines. This is something that really is going to require some personal reflection to figure out what exactly you want from that person. And this can really be applied to any situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a family get together. It could be with a boyfriend or your spouse, where if you are trying to make some changes in your life surrounding your diet, and they are saying things where they're trying to be helpful, but they're actually not being helpful for you, they don't realize that people are not mind readers. And so instead of just getting annoyed with somebody and hoping that they're one day going to figure it out because you are being passive aggressive with them, why not just tell them what it is that you want them to do or not to do, or what do you want them to say or not to say, and be very open about it. Sometimes people just simply don't know and they do not realize. So you want to prepare for that conversation, because the conversation may go well, it may not go very well. You know, of course, there can be a lot of pushback. You may get some resentment from the other person. You may also get some defensiveness from that other person, and where they're saying, oh, well, I didn't do that. I don't remember saying things like that. And not that you need to write out every little time that they said something on such and such a date. At this time, you said exactly this, this, and this. But you do want to make sure that you have some concrete examples and that you are really prepared for that conversation, where it's going to be an expected that they're going to have a little bit of pushback for you. So how are you going to work around those? Personally, I don't really like having those conversations. And I know that if I'm going to have that conversation, someone's going to have some pushback, and then I'm going to feel like I either don't know what to say back to them, or I'm going to get really upset. Maybe I get really mad, or maybe I get really sad and I start crying. So personally, what I do is I actually write this out. I write out exactly what I'm feeling, what the person has done or said that I did not like, and what I would like them to do instead. And oftentimes I will actually give them this as a letter, but sometimes I just use it as a way to kind of get out my feelings so that I am better prepared for that conversation, and I can actually refer to my notes when I'm talking to them, so that I don't feel like, oh my gosh, they're coming at me with all of this stuff, all this pushback, and now I don't know what to say. And I have my notes here that I can refer to. So if you really don't feel like the conversation is going to go well, or you really don't like conflict, maybe you just want to write it all out and you simply just give them the letter, so then they have time to read it over, they can process it, and then they can think about it before you actually have this conversation between the two of you. I would highly recommend considering that. And if you don't feel ready to confront a person about it, at the very least, write this out. Maybe you don't even give it to them, but it's going to be helpful to just get those emotions out on your end. So let's talk about some communication strategies for how you can talk to the person that you need to confront. First of all, you never want to come out of the gate swinging, saying, well, you did da 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 da, and you hurt me this way, and blah, 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 blah. Really, you want to, of course, frame everything using those I statements so that you can express feelings without sounding like you're accusing them. So I feel hurt when you said such and such, or I felt uncomfortable when you said blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are maintaining calm and trying not to get upset, even though that might be what you want to do. So not getting mad, not getting, overly upset where you're going to start crying, those types of things. Really just try to maintain a calm demeanor during the conversation. You want to be direct, but be respectful. So make sure that you are discussing the importance of these boundaries while remaining respectful to the other person. So you don't want to do what they are doing to you, which might feel disrespectful. You want to say things in a respectful manner, and you're probably going to know that best because you know that person best as to how to say those things, like what they are going to feel would be respectful to them. So again, you are going to want to anticipate some pushback. You may not get pushbacks. There have been times where I have said something to somebody and I was really expecting them to become defensive, and they were like, wow, Kristen, I had no idea. Thank you for bringing that up and telling me. And I was like, really? Well, thank you. That was great. But sometimes that's not going to be the case. You are going to get some pushback. So you want to make sure that you are mentally prepared for that. And maybe you're even, when you write things out, preparing for that pushback. Like, I already know that this person's going to say blah, blah, blah. So let me actually write out what my response is going to be to their response. So you want to make sure that you are, again, mentally prepared for it, but also, if you can, prepare for what you think they're going to say back. And again, staying calm and staying respectful and reiterating what those boundaries are, what you want them to do, gently but firmly if they are challenging you. And I would probably incorporate a little bit of humor in there, because that helps to lighten the conversation, and it makes it so that people aren't getting mad and then it becomes this whole fight. Okay. Now, you can expect, just because one time you had a conversation with Aunt Jane about how she made a comment of what you were eating on Thanksgiving last year, you can expect that this might happen again. And you want to reiterate those boundaries with her. So that would mean being proactive before Thanksgiving dinner this year. You want to reach out to Aunt Jane and say, hey, Aunt Jane, I just want to remind you, please don't do blah, 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 or say whatever it was that she had said last year that really upset you. Please don't wait until Thanksgiving Day to pull her aside while your entire family's there to say something. You really want to be proactive and say this to whoever you need to talk to at least several days before you're going to see them. So then everybody has time to process things. They have time to cool down. They have time to, think about things and that type of thing, rather than springing it upon them day of and nobody knows what to do. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about this is know when it's time to step back. I am not a proponent of cancel culture or cutting toxic people out of your lives. I really think that it is important to develop healthy relationships with people and develop communication skills with people to foster those healthy relationships. So I don't think that your first line of defense should be, well, Aunt Jane really got defensive and she's not willing to work with me on this, so I'm cutting her out of my life and I'm never going to see her. I'm not going to Thanksgiving dinner ever again. I don't really think that's the right way to do things. I believe that God put us all on this earth for a reason, and we are all meant to be within community with each other, and we should work through our problems. However, if you have somebody that is constantly doing something to you or saying something to you, and it's becoming a problem where it's abusive to you, that is a time where you need to take a step back. And if it's really affecting you and you just cannot, work through that, you can't work past that, and it is really affecting your life, your day-to-day life, that is when you need to take a step back from that person. And maybe that means you're not going to Thanksgiving dinner with that person. Maybe you're going to somebody else's Thanksgiving, or whatever the case may be. But I would really give it your best shot to work through those issues and have that conversation about boundaries before you just completely cut them out of your life. So I really encourage you to work through all of these steps. Make sure that you are setting those boundaries. You're being clear about what it is that you want from somebody, what you want them to do, what you don't want them to do, what your expectations are of the conversation, how you would like them to act, and then tell them about it. Be firm about it, but at the same time, you want to remain calm and respectful. So if this is something that you are struggling with, I really would encourage you to work with a therapist on this, because this is something where If you are constantly struggling with people saying things and it's affecting your self-esteem, it can be just beyond that person. It could be that you have some past traumas that you need to work through. And I would highly suggest working with a therapist on this. Now, if you are struggling with, I have no idea what to even eat for the holidays. I don't know how to mindfully eat through the holidays or how to eat intuitively through the holidays. That is where I come in as a dietitian, and I highly suggest that you check out my blog on intuitive eating through the holidays, and I will post that link below. And if you need additional help with this, please reach out and I would be happy to help you. You can set up a free consultation with me, which is just going to my website, elitenutritionandperformance.com/consult. And you can schedule a free time to talk with me, and we can talk a little bit about what your situation is and how I can help you work through all of that. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you, encouraged you, or changed you, I would love for you to leave me a review and share it with a girlfriend who will find it helpful or inspiring. That is the best way you can thank me and help me share my knowledge so I can help more people just like you. I'm so thankful that you spent this time with me today, and I'd love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition, or send me a DM on Instagram, or hop on over to my website, elitenutritionperformance.com. I'll see you back here next week.